If you own or run a business or hold a position in compliance, legal, marketing, or sales, you should be familiar with the deceptive marketing provisions of the Competition Act. In this short lesson, we will explain the important elements of deceptive marketing. This will help you make sure that the marketing and sales activities of your business comply with the law. For Canada's markets to be fair, its businesses must compete honestly. That's why, when you are promoting your business, products, or services, you must not make false or misleading statements about them. This includes online marketing like web banners, landing pages, text-based hyperlinks, emails, text messages, newsletters, blog posts, online ads, and social media content. If your marketing content creates a general impression that is false or misleading, it could be considered deceptive marketing. Keep in mind, no one actually needs to be deceived for the general impression to be false or misleading. Before you make any claims about your business, its products, or services, you should ask yourself these important questions in order to assess general impression. Is my marketing content partially false, or does it have more than one meaning, one of which is false? Does my promotional material withhold important information? Is it misleading without this information? Do parts of my marketing content, such as the web address or visuals, create a false impression? Taken together, do the representations I've made have the potential to create a false or misleading impression? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you should review your promotional material. To avoid giving the wrong impression in your marketing materials, here are a few additional tips. Avoid fine print disclaimers that restrict or contradict the main message. If you use disclaimers, make sure that they only clarify or expand on the main message. Disclaimers will not change the general impression if it is otherwise false or misleading. Use clear, easily understood language in your marketing copy. Ask unbiased proofreaders to verify that the message is easy to understand. Fully and clearly disclose all related and important information. Do not hide key features or information from your customers. Now that we've talked about how to assess the general impression of your marketing messages, let's look at performance or efficacy claims. These types of representations receive special treatment under the law. To make sure that your marketing materials are not deceptive, any claims you make about performance or efficacy must be supported by adequate and proper testing. Here are some do's and don'ts. Do make sure that your testing has been conducted before the claim is made. Do make sure your marketing claims reflect the actual test results. Do make sure that the testing on which you are basing your claims was done under controlled circumstances. Don't make broad claims based on testing that is only partially relevant. Don't base your marketing claims on test results that are insignificant or based on mere chance or one-time effect. It is your responsibility to prove that the marketing claims you make are based on adequate and proper testing. To comply with the law, testing must be done before any marketing claims are made, so test it before you market it. Let's turn to influencer marketing. The Competition Act still applies if you are working with influencers. Influencer marketing is marketing just the same. Both parties must remember that they are making marketing claims to consumers. There is nothing wrong with influencer marketing as long as the connection between the business and the influencer is clear to the public. Like marketers, influencers must clearly disclose relevant information related to their marketing claims. If the influencer receives any benefit from or has a connection to the business, it is important to disclose that to the public. A connection could be getting paid or receiving commissions, free products or services, or discounts in exchange for promoting a business, product, or service. It could also mean a friend or family connection with the business. When working with influencers, your business shares a responsibility for their promotional messages. You could be liable for false or misleading content. Therefore, you should always review their content carefully. Finally, a word about online reviews and testimonials. These must also be authentic experiences and opinions of impartial consumers. Now let's turn to the rules around pricing. The practice of offering attractive headline prices and then adding additional mandatory fees later in the transaction is sometimes referred to as drip pricing. When you promote a product or service at a certain price, that advertised price must be attainable. In other words, the price you attach to your product or service in your marketing must be the price that your buyer ultimately pays. Don't charge mandatory fees at the end of the purchase. Price matters. A sale price, advertised as a savings in relation to a regular or ordinary selling price, is especially compelling. When promoting a bargain or sale on your products or services, it's important that you don't inflate your regular price to create a false bargain. To comply with the law, the sale price must be based on the true regular price. A company must be able to validate the regular price by applying the volume test or the time test. To pass the volume test, your business must have sold a substantial volume of that particular product or service at the regular price or higher within a reasonable period of time. To pass the time test, your business must have tried selling your product or service in good faith for a substantial period of time at the regular price or a price that is higher than your new sale price. To avoid making deceptive claims about prices, keep these simple tips in mind. Don't use the word sale or special in your marketing collateral unless a true price reduction has occurred. Don't run a sale for a long time or repeat it every week. Don't lure consumers with a bargain product that isn't available and then offer a similar alternative at a higher price. Make sure that you have reasonable quantities of the product advertised at a bargain price before promoting a sale. Don't sell a product above your advertised price. If two prices appear on your product or service, charge the lowest price. So far, you've learned that the Competition Bureau is responsible for addressing deceptive marketing practices. However, it also has responsibility for addressing different kinds of criminal misleading advertising that are similar to fraud. The consequences of non-compliance with the Competition Act can be serious, including significant monetary penalties, restitution, prohibition orders, and even imprisonment. One important step that businesses can take to minimize the risk of breaking the law is to put in place a corporate compliance program. Credible and effective measures can be as simple and nimble as your business. Plus, it's the right thing to do. You have now completed Part 1 of Lesson 1 of our Compliance Bootcamp, and you should know how to spot risks in your promotional activities and avoid deceptive marketing. You can finish the bootcamp by completing the quiz in Part 2 of this lesson. This quiz will allow you to test the marketing knowledge you have just gained. Thanks for taking the time to learn how your marketing activities can stay on the right side of the law. Together, we can ensure fair competition in the Canadian market. To learn more, please check out our bonus resources in Part 3 of this lesson. If you have questions, please contact bit.ly/CB question form.